are on. Let me go check upstairs. I'm right back.
Okay, so supposedly we are on right now, and we are checking. We're doing this a visual check, and so I'm sort of talking here, waiting for the okay. And I hope that everyone is having a good day, maybe a good month. We're not talking about a good year. I mean, we're not pushing it, but it would be nice to assume that things are moving forward. You know, I was trying to think what we were going to do today, and are we up? All right, we're up. I have been sort of just rambling at this point. So, okay, everybody. So here we are, another month, another channeling, another fun time to do some stuff. Okay, so before we start, let's do the grounding. I'll call up a crystalline grounding cord from the center of the earth, going all the way up into the sun, making it as wide as your room. If you're in your car, as wide as your car, even more than that. Wherever you are, make it really wide, so it's not just your little body, but your whole space. This is really important because people often imagine or forget that when they are, grounding themselves and they ground their aura and their bodies, they're often in places that are kind of a little grungy or full of other entities or other energy. And if you ground to the whole room, you're really taking up a whole lot of space, and you're just sucking anything that's not in alignment with highest purpose out of you and sending it up into the sun. That's why I like to do that. I mean, you can always ground from your energy field, and that's good too. But grounding this larger thing makes it even more clean and cleansed in that space. There are people, for example, who have lots of entities, and when you go to their places and you ground the whole room, a lot of those entities will disappear. And you might just be wondering, I'll come back to this in a second. Let's open up your hands and let the white Christed light come down into you. And because as we are letting the white Christed light flow through us, in this case it's going through Arian's body, you are allowing it to yourself to get scrubbed clean of things that are blocking you, and you can allow yourself to be vibrating at a much higher level. And that, I come now, if I can go back to the comment that I was making about entities. Very often people have entities, particularly if they use drugs or alcohol. I know pot is a drug, and it depends on how it's used and where it's used. Because drugs and alcohol are really good attractors of lower level entities or energies. And because what happens is that your defenses are down, you are opened up like that, and things can come into you. That's what the drugs and alcohol do. And it's like you're opening up your aura and opening up your body and saying, come in. And when you allow yourself to be grounded and run the white Christed light, or in this case grounding, you allow a lot of those entities that are hanging around you in your space, if you're using drugs or if you're around people who are using drugs or alcohol. And this is really important, because if you do that, you get it all cleared out, the person who is using will often wake up and go, oh, what's going on? May not want to stick around, may want to go back down into that drugged state, but it's when they come out of that state for that few minutes, they're not in a state of either withdrawal or demand or blotto. They're in a state of awakening and of awareness, because those entities that have been attached to them have been moved out of their space, even for a few minutes. Because let's face it, people, there are a lot of people who are addicted, and when they try to get off of the addiction, it's very hard, because the entities that are there, you call them cravings. Well, cravings are definitely in your brain, but if you have entities who are feeding off that craving energy, they're going to be clustered around you too. And if you clean those out, even for a few minutes, that immediately gives you space and begins to lessen the craving. And then you can actually function better. For many people, it's better for them to be obliterated by the drug. That's safer for them. I know this particular image is probably going to end up on YouTube. So we look at these things and go, ooh, all these little strange expressions that are just this one tiny moment. At any rate, I just say all of this because a lot of people are feeling the effects of addiction, whether you are addicted or you know people who are addicted or alcoholic, and they often can't get out of it, nor do they want to. That's all part and parcel of this cycle of being connected to all of these entities, having them be attracted to you because your energy or their energy is getting lower and lower with the addiction, and then they just attach, and then they suck on your energy, and they kind of control you. That's why this kind of grounding and the white Christed light coming down just really dislodges all of that energy, dislodges all those entities, sends them into the sun to be recycled or sent to their own right place. You don't have to do any of that. All you have to do is just say, I'm grounding and I'm running the white Christed light. Isn't that simple and easy? Everything here that we try to do, we try to make it simple and easy. Okay, so what are we working on today? Well, I wasn't planning on mentioning alcohol or drugs, but I think that's a really important thing. Well, one of the questions that has come up is, how do you get through life? And I'll give you an example of what that person was talking about. It's like going along and then all of a sudden you get blindsided by something, or you seem to stumble and you end up in great financial difficulties. You lose your house, you lose your job, you lose your relationship. It seems like a cascade effect, and it's like, how do you prevent that, and how can you go through life without all of these bumps in the road? Now, that's not to say bumps in the road don't have some use, because if they are things that go wrong and you can figure out how to deal with them, that's great. But mostly, none of us really want bumps in the road. None of us really appreciate that kind of thing. So what we need to do, and what I thought would be very useful today, is to create last time I talked about magnetizing positive. We're going to demagnetize this week. We're going to talk about how to push things away so that if disasters of some sort, small, medium, and large, are coming in your direction, they get deflected. Because, they get deflected. They go off. They don't hit you. And if possible, they don't hit anyone else either. So what I mean by that, dear ones, is that is that you should just imagine being in your body. So right now I'm going to ask you to close your palms so that you can stop the white Christed light and just remind yourself that you are grounded, and feeling right around your energy field that there is a sense of strength, that you have this bubble of strength around you. And you can call it, you can think of it as gold, of cobalt blue, of white, but those are three good colors, and it's all around you, above you, around you, below you, and this is your safety zone. This is where you are, and it's really good protection for you. But beyond that, you want that, say, you have that all the time, and say, this is me, and I choose not to have anything come in and impinge on this that hurts me. But beyond that, it's important to put out that you are going to move forward into the world, into life, and I'm doing it from the top of my head, or Arian's head, and I'll discuss why in a few moments, that we're going to remove or move out of the way anything that might be disruptive, disastrous, unpleasant, nasty, annoying, all of those things. Now, some people, and Arian is reminding me of this, really thrive on chaos. And she's saying that's because they grew up with chaos, and that's the only thing they knew. And they do everything they can to stay in that chaos. And for you people, trying this exercise, working with this, will begin to help you calm down the chaos, and you'll begin to recognize something different. And for those of you who don't thrive on chaos, this will still be really nice. Now, I put Arian's hand up, actually, up here at the top of her head, because up here in your 7th chakra, at the very top, is really a kind of beacon, or like a microwave dish circling around, but it's not actually a receiver, it's more of a sender, and it's saying, I'm here, I wish this. And what you should be programming into this is, I wish that I be supported, loved, I wish to remove any obstacles, any disasters, any disruptions in my path. So it's not like radar or sonar, which is beeping out there looking for it. This is more like an icebreaker, cutting through all of the energies and clearing space for you in your space as you move forward in your life. So that's what I would like us to change or recalibrate. We have one of those people who invite chaos into their lives. They have one, and it says, chaos, chaos, I need chaos. That's the only way I can function. For the rest of us, some of us are in fear, some of us are in total ignorance, some of us just don't care, and some of us are feeling great. So what I'd like to do is, I'd like you to call on some angelic forces, higher healing masters, just to come and take out that particular beacon, icebreaker, beam that you're going to send out. Sort of that beam, that's a good way of saying it. It's up here in your 7th chakra. Let them take it out and recalibrate it. If it's in really bad shape, you don't have to see it. But if it isn't serving you to be at the highest level of your being, to be at the most productive and uplifting and evolving, it doesn't belong with you. Get rid of it. Just send it into the sun and ask them to put one in at the level of your divinity, of your divine blueprint. Because remember, dear ones, you are functioning or working, hopefully working, according to the divine blueprint which is inside of you. This beam should be expressing your divine blueprint. So ask that it be put in here, in your seventh chakra, to beam out at your highest level of being. And what it's beaming out is deflection, beaming out calmness, beaming out serenity, beaming out healing, beaming out love, beaming out smoothness, so that you can move forward in your life in a way that is healing for you, expansive, loving, and anything that doesn't match that, anything that is disruptive. I say the word beam. You know, you have those beams of laser beams that zap and destroy the asteroid. And that's kind of what it also does, is it destroys anything in its path that would knock you off balance, that would bother you, that would annoy you, that would hurt you, that would create disasters for you. This is really important, to allow you to go forward into the future feeling taken care of, feeling that things are going to work out. Your little beam is going to clear out anything in the way. So I'd like you to now do that. If you haven't done it already, ask those angels or healing masters to set back into you your divine beam of being, allowing you to feel it moving around in all of the circumference of your being, going through. So it's like a lighthouse, you know, the light of the lighthouse rotates all around so you can see the rocks. Whereas a lighthouse light just reveals the rocks, your light, your beam, is going to demolish them, send them into the sun, clean them up, out of the way, out of the way. So now just take a moment to imagine yourself stepping forward in your life, you know, as you go through day by day by day, week by week, month by month, demolishing everything in its path. That is not in alignment with your highest purpose. Doesn't mean demolishing it or sending it off to someone else to smash into them. No, just demolishing it and letting them all go. And you can do that, and you'll feel really good and loved and protected. Okay, dear ones, I think that is what we will have done for today. So, thank you, and we'll see you next month.